In this video, I wanted to discuss our new Golden Rocket Expert Advisor. So, Golden Rocket is based on the concept of support and resistance breakouts, specifically when applied to gold. And support and resistance breakouts is not a particularly novel strategy. It's used by many gold expert advisors as it's a very tried and tested, very good, consistent strategy. But I have found that really the flaw of this type of system is during very choppy markets, it can have some pretty hefty drawdowns. So when I was designing Golden Rocket, I was trying to find a way to reduce those drawdowns, but still take advantage of the good strategy. And that's why essentially Rocket is a combination of support and resistance levels with an impulse candle that breaches those levels to kind of hope to represent a strong break of a key level with volume. So by implementing this approach, you can use a tighter stop loss and have a very robust, strong method that also keeps your risk very low. So effectively, trading Golden Rocket with only 2% risk per day, you can make roughly 150% annual returns. So risk is never low in Forex trading, but it's able to have relatively modest drawdowns given the percentage return which is possible. So here we can look at support and resistance breakouts and the effect of the concept behind this. So as we all know, support and resistance represent levels where traders have historically entered the market to buy and or sell. And I find that the terms supply and demand are actually quite a bit more helpful as they help you conceptualize them and view them really as orders in an order book, which represent large blocks of orders. So when price hits a block with a bunch of resting orders or resting liquidity, as some people prefer to say, there tends to be a reaction to it. And quite often that's some sort of rejection of that level. However, if you see a strong break through this level, quite often price keeps going because it could show that there's no longer resting liquidity at a certain level, or the fact that there's a strong enough of a fundamental driver going on that if you are able to fiercely break a level, there is a better probability from a statistical perspective that you'll have a continuation and price will keep going. So that's what Rocket is effectively based on. And the strategy itself, like the trigger is, as mentioned, the break of a key level with a very large impulse candle. And then effectively you would use a tight trailing stop loss to lock in a quick profit. And here you're actually able to combine this with a very tight stop loss so you can have a superior risk reward. And something I really try to do with most of my expert advisors is minimize the use of indicators whenever possible, because the more complex a trigger becomes, the more points of failure you might have, and the higher the odds of overfitting become. And that's why I really like Rocket, because you have extremely good returns while simultaneously having a very price action based strategy with not too many or essentially zero indicators. So your odds of overfitting ideally go down significantly. And here you can look at the performance over the past 1 year, and the performance is frankly exceptionally good. So here we're seeing around 147% returns with a 8.5% or 8.6% drawdown over a 1 year period. And this is only risking 2% per day because we have a max one loss per day setting here where effectively the EA will stop trading if that is hit. And this was also done largely for prop firms, because if you could have this kind of return with only a 2% daily max risk, that's potentially extremely exciting in a prop firm context. And here as well, just to kind of summarize, this is an upgrade on a proven trading strategy. So the reason why gold breakouts are so popular are simply because they work. This is a very tried and tested strategy, but most bots that trade this system rely on simple pending orders. And as I previously mentioned, the issue with this is if you're in a nasty, choppy range, price can always go up and just tap the order, trigger your order, and then come back down and reverse quickly. And this will happen during certain market regimes, such as this past November 2024, prior to the election, gold was really oscillating in a really strong range, or really large range. And systems like this were really getting beaten up because of that. However, if you kind of preface the entry and say that in order to actually enter, not only do you need to breach a level, but you need to have a strong impulse when breaching the level. You add just an additional layer and an additional confirmation, which makes it far more likely to be robust and only enter when there's a higher likelihood of having a continuation to the upside or to the downside. So this is just a bit of a call to action, which you can see to go check out our bot. But before we dive into the website, let me just quickly open up MT5 to show you guys how it works. So if I zoom out here on the H1, you can see that indeed we are entering on breaches of prior levels. So here this would be a breach of a level here with a large candle, and then we enter. But really the difference is if we zoom into the M5, we can see that it enters on a large candle. So not only is it waiting for a level to be breached, it's waiting for a level to be breached with volume. And here we can see an example of a loser where it was less successful. But here we can see a winner where breach of a level with a lot of volatility. And likewise here, breach of a level with volatility, breach of a level with volatility. So that's just kind of an additional setting that you can use to make it safer. Whereas if you just had like resting pending orders, the issue is sometimes you can hit them without necessarily having the momentum to continue the move. So that's why I'm actually extremely excited to run this strategy, and you're welcome to backtest it over several years. The performance is actually outstandingly good. And at the same time, if you look at the risk reward, it's actually not that inverted compared to some of our other systems. Here we target roughly a 1 to 3 and a bit. So that is significantly less inverted than many gold scalping bots. And sometimes you can even have 1 to 2s depending on the actual momentum you're having. And that was kind of the point of having the tighter stop loss here, because it enables you to still successfully run scalping with a bit of a less inverted risk reward, which is often a complaint that people have when it comes to scalping systems. And here we can come up to our sales page here, where you guys are welcome to click the first link in the description to check this out, have a look at the live track record, look at some of the backtest statistics here, and as well as you are welcome to download a backtest version of the bot, take a look at how it works, and see if it's a good fit for you and your trading portfolio. Guys, drop me a comment if you have any questions, and have yourselves a great day.